Hello everybody and welcome back to another book review with me, your host, Alice. Today we are talking about A Game of Fate. Now, A Game of Fate is written by Scarlett and Clair. She wrote the Touch of Malice, A Touch of Darkness, Touch of Ruin books. These stories are a Hades and Persephone retelling. These three are from Persephone's point of view. This is book 1 in Hades' point of view. She's also written book 2, which I will review next week. This one aligns with A Touch of Darkness, and then the second one lines with A Touch of Ruin, and she has not yet released A Touch of Malice. I think you're supposed to read them like in a way I did not, which is Touch of Darkness, Game of Fate, then A Touch of Ruin, A Game of Retribution, and then this one, and wait for the next Hades one. I did not know that, and also Game of Retribution wasn't out yet, so I read the 3 Persephone versions, followed by the Hades ones. So one of the disadvantages of doing it that way was the story lining up for me was a little bit off. Like what happened in A Touch of Darkness for Persephone does not always line up in A Game of Fate for me. A lot of it does, but there are certain things I remember happening in here that there's no mention of in here. So that could just be my brain is muddled, but I do believe that, which would make sense. If things that matter to Persephone that Hades wasn't there for, they're not going to be mentioned in here unless she tells him. And so they're both big on the miscommunication. So it would make sense that not everything gets communicated. But I enjoyed the story. It is a fantasy romance. So if you like smutty fantasy romance and you like anything mythology, this is a great series for you. Some of the tropes you'll find in it are soulmates, stuck together, mythology retellings, age gap, grumpy sunshine. Guess which one's grumpy? Hades, of course. The mentor, which I would define as Hecate in this, not Hades. Enemies to lovers, hurt her and die vibes. The pros, there's lots of romance and lots of smut, which I like. It's fun. It's based on Greek mythology. We all know Alice loves Greek mythology. There are complex relationships and histories between the characters, not specifically Hades and Persephone, because Persephone is a very young goddess, but Hades with his siblings, Hades with Persephone's mother, Hades with like Hermes who just shows up and things like that. There's a lot of history between these gods, which makes perfect sense. The gods are very old. They've been around a lot, and there's a lot of accurate representation of the mythological characters and creatures. So the personality types very much are accurate to what you typically read about in mythology for the various characters, which is a lot of fun. Some of the cons I found in the story, the miscommunication trope is really overused. Like, I get that they're new in the relationship and they're not telling each other things, but you can only use that so many times before it starts to get a little bit like, again, can someone tell them things? It did take some work adjusting to the massive list of the characters in it. I love a big list, but they just kept being added, and sometimes names are thrown in and you only see them like twice in the book. And you're like, wait, why did you name this person? Why couldn't they just be like random bartender kind of thing? And not all of the Hades point of views are out yet, which makes it hard to try to remember. I don't reread, you know that. So I will watch my own review of a book or read my own review before I read the book again. So there is that. I do love having a dual point of view. Like for me, a fantasy or romance book should have both point of views. I like it more. I prefer to have a third or first person where I get the opinions and the beliefs and how people see things and that, but I get it from more than one person. I don't want a first person where I only get one person's point of view the whole time. That gets boring to me. So this was a lot of fun. I also really liked getting deeper into Hades' head. Hades is typically known as a god who's quieter, keeps to himself more, and that's true in this story. So being able to get his point of view means we really get a lot more of Hades, which we would not otherwise get. So that, of course, is a whole lot of fun. Also, in A Touch of Darkness, Hades vanishes a lot. So, like, he's with Persephone and they're growing close together and that, but she goes to work and she does life things and he's gone. So it was really interesting to see what he was doing behind the scenes, especially because what he was doing to make sure their relationship would succeed and flourish that she has no idea about is actually pretty nice to see. And the other thing that I really enjoyed was that the level of smut is high, but the story is really deep too. And because there's so many mythological characters that are done really well and are accurate to what they are, it really made the story enjoyable for me, just because of the way everything is handled. Like he even has dogs in the underworld, and they're clearly Hades, or Cerberus, Orpheus, and the third one, whose name I can never remember, but he got all the parts of the underworld to write all their names, what they do. Like, I was very impressed at how well done all of that was. So Scarlett clearly did her research. And as someone who loves Greek mythology, well done. So if you like Greek mythology, you like dual point of view books, and you like a longer series with a lot of smut, check this out. I am enjoying it. I want the next book to come out now. It's not going to, but that's all right. I will wait for it. So yeah, check it out. It's a lot of fun, and I hope you guys have a great day and happy reading.